Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another Sundays with Space Captain Lucas here on the internet on spacecaptainlucas.com. I don't actually have that URL. Should get it though. How's everyone doing? Had a splendid week? Well, I'm glad to hear that. It's been only like 2 days since I did a vlog last because I did it in the middle of the week. With the recent announcement of Anno 2205, which as I've said before, I'm still very excited about. I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited about it. I'm just gonna take some time to talk about Anno 2070, and I'm gonna talk about what I think they should improve on in 2205 compared to 2070. Now I don't know if the footage underneath this video is gonna be Anno. I don't think that will work still on my laptop. I'm still having problems, but I'll explain briefly in case it's not Anno what kind of the goal of Anno is. It will give you a little bit of understanding of what I think should be improved. So Anno is a city building strategy. Well, less strategy. It's a city building resource management game. What you have is you build a town center. Essentially, you build houses, and people will come into the houses and they want certain things. They start by wanting fish and some type of drink, and you get that by first of all building a fishery. And for the drink, one of the teams wants tea, so you build about 3 or 4 tea farms across the map, and slowly they'll create tea and fish. That's just the very basic needs of the people. On top of that, they want some kind of entertainment, and after that they'll level up, and when they do, they'll turn into a different class of citizen, and they want, as well as the other things below the fish and drink, they also want another type of food, and I think some kind of electronics. It's either plastic or communicators they want. They also want another type of resource, which I can't remember off the top of my head because I'm stupid. But yeah, essentially that's the idea. You have to, as you level up your citizens, there's about 5 or 6 levels for your citizens. Every time you level up your citizen, you have to add 2 or 3 extra things to the things that you're already managing, the resources you're already managing. And these little houses eventually grow into skyscrapers, which house more people. So over time, you're going to need to be getting more of the initial stuff as well as more of the later stuff. That's where the resource management comes into it. And on top of that, you need building materials, which basically are exactly the same. You need to get the first lot is like building modules, and you get that by harvesting basalt or something. I think it's basalt. Oh no, granules. And then creating something that will turn it into building modules, and then later on you get like glass and wood and things like that, and you need to keep getting all of that. So it's a very, very complicated game. You can't understate how complicated the game is. It's really complicated. You got so much to think about. You can never put one thing down. You have to be constantly thinking of everything plus the next thing. But let's talk about what I think can be changed, and that's in relation to kind of what I just talked about, or at least what I'm going to say now is what's in relation to that. I think the biggest thing that I feel needs to be changed is there needs to be some sort of automation. Now, Anno is kind of known for being very complicated, but I feel like I was going to do this with Mike yesterday, but we started playing Anno to get some video of it, and we just kind of kept playing. It's very addictive. But while we were playing, we kind of noticed that we were stuck in the 3rd tier, the level 3 guys, for lack of a better word. They kind of wanted the thing that was going to stick around the most, and because they were constantly expanding, we were constantly having to add new things to it, and if they don't get enough of it, then our entire city just collapses, basically. All of the people will leave because everyone above them needs all that stuff. Because it's such a long process, I mean, we were playing it for 4 hours and we were only on like the 4th level of guys, and that took a long time. Because we were only playing it for 4 hours, I think that there needs to be some kind of automation to either not make it quicker, but make it so you can concentrate on the things above it. But like I said, Anno is known for complexity, and I don't want to say that I want to make it too simple. I don't think they should make it too simple. I think that there should be just like, say for instance, if you have enough food for 1,000 guys, and another 100 guys move in, like it seems like a waste of time to go and make that extra farm or something. I think there should be some leniency. I'm not entirely sure what that should be. I just think that perhaps that would be an interesting idea. And I'm not even saying that it would necessarily be used, but I think it'd be interesting to have that in there at least. As well as that, I saw in the trailer that there was a bridge, and I made a big thing about the bridge. I actually still stand by that. I think that'd be awesome, having a bridge. I mean, one of the most annoying things about the old Anno games is that everything is boats. Even in the future, it was all boats, and everything took ages to be delivered from place to place. And I think that they should take some lessons from cities' skylines and have everything. You can not just send things by boats, but construct roads and set how things are going to get to where, if that makes sense. Like in City Skylines, you can create train ways that will go to different parts of the cities. You can, like, I don't think you can fly them actually, but you can send them by truck. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can send them, and it's all about organizing that to be more efficient. And I think that Anno could take a bit of a lesson from that. But like I said, it's already complex enough, so maybe that's adding too much complexity to it. But I don't know, I just really like the idea of bridges. What's wrong with that? There's islands. It seems to me really logical to stick a bridge between two islands. That just seems like a really good idea to me. So next, I think that the biggest thing that I always felt about Anno is that the combat in it is awful. They should either... Well, I'm not saying that they should do this, I'm just saying I hope that this is the case. They should either have better combat, as in flesh it out to make it a more fleshed out combat experience if you want to do that, or they should have no combat. Because I feel like I never do combat because it just feels really tacked on. You have to build an airstrip, and you have to start managing a bunch of things that you don't really need to for the rest of it, and it's not like the ships that you use for combat can't be used for trading and stuff anyway. So it's kind of like, it feels like they just got a trading ship and stuck a gun on it, which didn't really feel very good. I mean, like, it works for things like in Anno 2070 there are pirates that come and attack you, and in fact even in the other Annos there are pirates that attack you, and it felt really good for that, like warding off a few pirates. But when it came to taking over enemy bases, you really didn't want to be attacking. It just felt really boring and tacked on. I'd rather have the hostile takeover system where you can buy out your enemy islands. That was pretty interesting. It was annoying, but it was interesting. Kept you on your toes. Or just remove the combat. Like, it's all about economy of the game. You don't really need combat. But I don't know what they got planned. The next thing is, I think that there should be more cooperative features. When me and Mike were playing co-op Anno 2070 yesterday, it kind of just turned into me organizing the city and him organizing everything else on all the other islands. And the thing about that is that you can do that on your own. Someone's just doing what you would already be doing on another island. And I think that it needs something that makes it a little bit more varied. I think that, say for instance, if you could, I don't know, take a page from SimCity and have one person doing a specialization and another person having another specialization. Say for instance, if one person controls a city, they can make more people come to the city or something. I don't know, just something to make it so that you don't just... Because I was finding that if Mike wasn't being fast enough, I was just taking over the island, because I could just command any unit, and so I was just building some more stuff if he wasn't taking priority on the stuff that I needed. And I think that that's a bad habit to get into with co-op stuff. So I think that they need to have some kind of thing to prevent you from doing that. And I think that specializations and stuff is a really good way of doing that. Give you little bonuses for sticking to what you're doing. I think next is more beautification. This is kind of a petty one because I understand the game isn't about beautification in the same way that like Cities Skylines and SimCity is about that. In those games, it's all about making your city look, well, it's not all about that, but it's a lot of the game is about making your city look pretty, especially in Cities Skylines where they need a pretty city. That rhymed. pretty city. But I find that I'm always building in Anno, I'm always building the city in exactly the same way, and it looks really dull. It works strategically, but it looks really dull. And I like to I like to fill in like blank spaces with just the static flower beds and stuff that they've got, just to make it look at least like a city that people would want to live in. And I think that's kind of important. I think that having a more varied and personalized city is kind of it's not necessarily needed, but I think it's a good idea. I think it would add a lot of replayability to the game if you can build a city that's going to look different every time, rather than just look like, oh, I put some containers in a different place. Oh, good. I think having some really big skyscrapers, perhaps some different looking buildings, so they don't look all the same. Having some, I don't know, amenities, is that how you pronounce it? That people can go to that look all different and stuff. Just variance, without having it all be necessary, without having you have to put something within a certain radius of something else or something. Just having a city that looks as impressive as it feels, as impressive as the process of getting everything that it needs, so that you can also look at it and be like, yeah, it's a good city. Because you're harvesting so much, you're getting so many resources, and they just get drained and stuck into what the civilians eat and drink, and that's it. You're just supporting them, which is fine, but I think that also allocating some resources to actually visually show how interesting your city is, rather than just in terms of gameplay. And on the same note, I think that the overall terrain and stuff needs some improvement, because in the like, while I like the look of the game, it looks nice, everything is a little bit flat, which is something I've been noticing a lot about city building games lately. Cities Skylines was like this as well. It was really flat. It was just a flat game. It's called Skylines, and the city just looks like a carpet. I think that like hills and stuff always look pretty good, but hey, that's just my aesthetic opinion. I think finally, the most important thing that the game needs, and this is kind of without a doubt the most important thing, I think that the ability to speed up the game in multiplayer, because it's so slow, and I mean really slow. I get tired playing it without speeding it up, and it needs a way to power through the original, the beginning phases. There's this mission in Anno 2070 where after about 2 or 3 hours, I think it is, it might actually just be like an hour, after say an hour or something, a war fleet enters your world and just annihilates you, and the whole point of the mission is to ward off this war fleet. So you've basically got an hour to build a city, to get everything working and build a bunch of ships, and if you don't, you've wasted that hour, basically. I think that events like that kind of need a bit of you need to be able to kind of dodge those a little bit. You need to be able to speed past the initial, opening phases of the game, which is always going to be exactly the same every time. I mean, later on, turning off turning off the ability to speed up is not necessarily a bad thing, because you need to concentrate. But at the beginning, you're going to be doing exactly the same thing every single time, and if there's something that's going to draw you away from the game, it's going to be that. And I mean, even the games, the way that you unlock things in the game is you earn points for every game you beat, and every game is like 6 hours almost. So, and you don't earn points at a fast enough level to make it worth it. You earn like 50 out of 1,000 for each game or something, and that's 6 hours. And I mean, like, how many games is that you have to play? That's ridiculous. That's a lot of time. I think that the option to speed up would be nice. Not necessarily to make it so that it's always there, but like so you can turn that on, so you can have a game where it's okay to speed up time if you want, you know, stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. I know that it's kind of me just talking about random stuff, but that's kind of, I think that's the main things that I think that the new game should improve on. I really like Anno, and I'm saying this from a place where, you know, I have a great deal of respect for the series, and I enjoy it every time. I've enjoyed all of the Anno games except for the multiplayer stupid one. So I'm sure it'll be just as good in its own way, but those are just the things that I take from Anno 2070 and what I would personally do, but I don't know how to make games, so what do I know? So that's it. If you've got anything that you want to add, or anything that you want to criticize about what I just said, feel free to chuck a comment down below. I always welcome it. What? I always welcome it. That's what I meant to say. And I hope you have an awesome week. Get Anno 2070 if you can. At the time of recording this, it's on sale. So, and it's like $7 in Australia, which is pretty good. So get it if you can. And I will see you next week.